And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another weekly review with The Robot, brought to you by the Movie Pope. And here he is, bolts and nuts akimbo, The Robot.
We're getting closer and closer to Thanksgiving, but what feels like 2 weeks away might as well be 4. To get you over the hump and make things go a little smoother, I'm reviewing The Karate Kid Part 2 from 1986. Sure, everyone knows and loves the first movie, but subsequent films in the franchise get overlooked. Why is that? Is it because the sophomore film can't hold a candle to the first one? Well, I watched the movie recently and am asking myself that same question. After all, can anyone here really name a sequel that was as good as the first outing? And don't say The Dark Knight, seriously, they use quite a lot. And I get it, pitting Batman against the Joker and him dealing with all the chaos was a great study in character-driven storytelling. But surely there's got to be another sequel that knocked it out of the park. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in and see where Daniel LaRusso and Miyagi go after the first Karate Kid. Will it knock your socks off? Will it leave you questioning everything you ever believed in? Or will you just shrug your shoulders and say, man, it's not as good as the first one? Well, dear viewers, we shall see. So, the movie does a brief recap of what happened in the first film, in case anyone here forgot or didn't bother to see it. But then why would you see a sequel without first seeing the OG? Danny is still honing his skills, which mainly involves doing manual labor for the old master. But hey, patience forges fortitude, am I right? Anyway, the movie kicks off with Miyagi getting a letter informing him his old man is about to die, so he rushes home to Okinawa to see him. We also get to learn more about Miyagi's past, especially his lady love Yuki, which created a rift between him and his best bud Sato. Danny and Miyagi return to Okinawa to find things a bit different. For one, Sato is itching for a rematch, even though he's not exactly in the best shape. It's kinda weird that Sato and Chosen know when Miyagi would arrive on Okinawa. Very suspicious. To cap it off, Sato is monopolizing the fishing trade in a move which, to my, is a giant FU to Miyagi. Sato is so eager to fight he doesn't care where it happens. In a way, he reminds me of the Black Knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, since they're both itching for a throwdown. And just like the Black Knight, it doesn't end well. For all his bravado, he eventually comes around and proves he is capable of redemption, something which is lost on his nephew Chosen. Sato's nephew, Chosen, is comically villainous. He's so shallow as he is bad. When we first meet the guy, he's doing a pretty poor job at playing it cool. He's eyeing Danny like a bouncer, sizing him up, so when he acts all menacing it comes as no surprise. And what he does throughout the movie is laughably ridiculous. It's an 80s thing, really. From being a cheapskate in business to welching on his uncle when he needs help to kidnapping Kumiko to the big fight at the end, he is just hammering home the point that he is the baddie of the movie. Whereas his uncle Sato does have a change of heart at the end, Chosen just consistently acts like someone who just doesn't give a flip about anybody or anything. He's crazy rich and isn't afraid to live like a Nepo baby, and what Danny does at the end is overwhelmingly satisfying. Chosen is just bad for the sake of being bad. He's not doing this out of personal ideology of gain or vendetta. He just relishes in the role, which is emphasized by that weird grin he flashes. Dude, we get it. Whereas in the first film it's all set in the good old US, here we get to see more of Miyagi's world, delving into the place that forged him and the people who made him into who he is. I did think it was interesting how, in spite of his promise to marry Yukiya, he never fulfills it but flees instead. Makes you wonder if that decision hasn't haunted him for years and he's finding a way to make up for his past. Sato is the embodiment of that decision come back to haunt him. Even though the dad doesn't figure much in the story because he's, well, on his deathbed, he still casts a huge shadow on his son and Sato, imbuing the lessons that he would later pass on to Danny. And I also like how we get to see Okinawa, both the land that Miyagi knows, but also the modern one that Danny would recognize. Miyagi in the first movie is living in the modern Western world while trying to retain his heritage, and Danny is thrust into Miyagi's world and learning to embrace and appreciate the local culture. It's such a beautiful setting and gives depth to who Miyagi is and shows Danny the path to follow. Karate Kid Part 2 is an enjoyable movie, but obviously, it's not like the first. And that's okay in my book, because if sequels were anything like their predecessors, they wouldn't be worth watching. Danny continues his training with Miyagi, but this time he's out of his element, literally being in Okinawa. But what's the deal with real estate developers and business tycoons being the villain in all these 80s films? What we get here is not only the fight to preserve the way things are, but to prove that these big shots are not doing anything beneficial. Could there be socialist subtext in all this? Would explain the current political situation right now. Anyway, this movie isn't going to leave a lasting impression like its predecessor, but it certainly adds more to the lore and gives us a backstory we were probably wondering about. However, it doesn't need to outshine what came before it or try to make you ask the hard questions, but just escapism for 90-something minutes. It's a feel-good experience. And if it gets the blood pumping with a high-octane fight, so be it, because it is that kind of movie. And even the villains, as shallow as they are, do provide comical relief because they show just how ridiculous people can be sometimes and deserve to be mocked and jeered and, in this movie's case, deserved a generous helping of humble pie. Thanks for watching, and if you don't mind, please leave us a like, it helps a lot. And while you're at it, subscribe so you never miss an episode drop. This is the Robot signing off.